attention. Anything to shake this monument. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another episode of the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. But we have never been back at it like this before. Lionel Messi, the best player in the world, is coming to Major League Soccer. It's a paradigm shift. We're doing an emergency pod. Thad, El Mejor del Mundo. El Mejor del Mundo, Thad, is coming to MLS. De todos los tiempos is coming to MLS. It is not rumors anymore. It's not fake news. It's not an AI-generated headline, although I have used Messi to MLS as a prompt for a bedtime story before. But now it is real. It is really happening, Thad Bell. It is actually happening. El Mejor del Mundo, Thad. Yes! Yes!
Are you excited? Oh my God, he's excited.
We lost Cody.
We lost Cody. He's like running
Chugging a
around.
beer.
He's wearing his Argentina jersey. I'm not sure who he's got on there, but he's like jumping on the bed with the dog. I don't know. I don't think we could.
If he was really excited, it would be. If he was really excited to be a Messi jersey, not a Tevez jersey.
Yeah, that's true. If he was really prepared for this, that would be that. But I think at some point, if he comes back, we should have already gone through the rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. He's drinking beer.
Is that a hard seltzer?
He's been fooling around with the dog on the bed.
Oh man,
5% effort on the chug. It was terrible.
I'm ready to start the show. You guys ready to get the show going here?
Right.
What are you drinking?
Do a proper chug, man.
I'm drinking a Southwest Boulevard lager.
Well, take it to the face.
No, you don't chug Southwest Boulevard. You see what I'm doing here?
You did chug Southwest Boulevard for like
quick
1.5 seconds.
Don't stamp on my parade here. Very excited. Did I miss anything? Did you guys get the show going without me?
No, chug so
we tried, but we were
while Cody can't talk. Go to the Kansas City Soccer Journal and please rate and review the podcast wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever else. If you have complaints, it's at that Cody though. Otherwise, if you have nice things to say, please leave us a nice review.
De todos los tiempos, Thad. This is really happening. Are you excited? See, no, hold on. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to Thad. You suck all the fun out every time I do that. I'm not even going to you. We have Mike Kuhn with us. We have Mike Kuhn. Not that he's known for always being very excited, but he is our MLS historian here. He has all of the knowledge, the history of the league. Mike, we're very happy to have you. We never get you on the show, man.
I have kids. I have kids soccer that I got to do, and I all over the place. You're lucky you're getting me tonight during tryout season even.
I could not believe it when Thad said you were able to do this. And on short notice, the emergency pod for Lionel Messi.
How many of your kids are taller than Messi now?
Mine?
Yeah.
Probably one, although the second may be creeping up there at this point. The high schooler, I think, definitely is.
Lionel Messi has turned down $1.6 billion with a B from Saudi Arabia, reportedly. $1.6 billion over 3 years to come to Inter Miami, David Beckham's Inter Miami. It has been a long, long transfer saga, but Messi himself said today that he is coming to Miami. It's come to an end. Fabrizio Romano is actually saying it. He was wrong multiple times on this very story, but once he said it, everyone seemed to think it was official this time. So he has said he's coming. We don't know any of the details yet, but they have said the quote that I am focused on, or the word that has been in quotes, is that MLS is getting quote unquote creative with this. So Mike, I'm going to go to you on here. I know there's probably going to be ownership of the club involved. There's going to be a cut of the Apple TV deal. Adidas is sniffing around. But then the creative part, it seems there's talk of that all MLS teams are going to be helping the bill here with Messi. Is anything like that going to be true?
I mean, we're getting into the point where it's like almost beyond my sleuthing because we're getting to the MLS level of things here. But I mean, it's not unprecedented though. I mean, look at there was talk at the time that when Seattle signed Dempsey, that they got help from the league to get it done, to bring him to Seattle. So it's not unprecedented that the league as a whole would help out in bringing in a player of such stature. I mean, there were never full comments about Beckham, but I mean, given the incentives and stuff that was in his contract, that would have had to have needed full MLS on all of MLS ownership to be on board with it, for them to offer him the ownership stake at a discounted rate would have required all of MLS to get behind it. So it's not unprecedented for all of MLS ownership to say, we really want this guy to come here. Let's do what we can to make this happen, even if we have to take a hit somewhere to do it, basically. But from what I've heard, yeah, you're right with the Apple portion of the Apple subscriber base, the new subscribers that they get, supposedly, some money from Adidas, ownership stake in Inter Miami. There's a lot involved they did get creative to bring him in.
Yeah, and I'm sure when it's all said and done, it is going to add up to a very large number. But it is safe to assume it is, at least in the short term, the stake in the ownership of the club will eventually be worth a lot more one day. But you have to imagine that he obviously could have made more going to Saudi Arabia, right, Thad?
Oh, he could have. That's for sure. But it's not always. I know it's hard to say this, but it's not always about just the money. I mean, he's lived in Miami. He's trained in Miami with Argentina. There's lots of things that he already has ties there. So obviously not everybody who goes to Saudi Arabia or the Middle East loves to stay there.
Yes, there are
Well,
already.
there was also. I was just going to say, I can't remember if it was who had said it, but didn't his wife come out with some sort of comment about not
Yeah,
wanting to live in Saudi Arabia, or couldn't live in Saudi Arabia for X amount of money or
her
something like
missus
that?
wanted to come to the States. She wanted the Miami life. She wanted the South
Yeah.
Beach life, and you can't blame her for that.
So I mean, in that
It's
regard,
hard. It's
it would
hard
have
to
had to have been
imagine
a
that
lot of
thinking
money.
Miami is going to be a better family.
David, you want to get in here on how
Sorry.
excited you are?
I mean, less excited than you are. More excited than Thad, probably. Like, probably a safe medium between the two of you.
Thad and I
To
are good measuring sticks on levels of excitement and drama.
Mike's point, I do think it's probably likely that the league chipped in, and maybe the owners of the other clubs, but it's a smart move for them financially. Not every club sells out every match. So while St. Louis doesn't need problems selling tickets right now, some of the other clubs in the league have really bad attendance. And even if your team is bad, when Messi shows up, fans of Messi will show up. And the guy's got 470 million Instagram followers. I'm sure some people are going to sign up for Apple TV so they can watch Leo Messi play.
Well, and on that point, I mean, look at it this way: Messi, the announcement came out today. Inter Miami already became the most followed Twitter account for MLS teams. They passed the LA Galaxy. To your point on attendance, it's the same as with when David Beckham came, and you had so many teams selling out stadiums. The largest crowd for a regular season game in Kansas City's history is David Beckham wasn't there, but it was a game versus the Galaxy that David Beckham was supposed to be there for. So that's not a novel concept. And on your point on Apple TV, the other thing is Apple TV isn't just the United States either. It is in a bunch of different countries the broadcaster for MLS. So you're going to get Argentinians signing up for it. You're going to get Spaniards. You're going to get people all over the world that are fans of Messi signing up so that they can watch Messi. So it is a big deal. I don't remember, again, it was something I saw earlier today. This is why this alone is why you lost Joe Public, who now can't watch the game on 38 The Spot or Bally Sports, because you now got 10 other people in Argentina that have signed up for it to replace that guy. Basically, it sucks locally, but thinking from a global aspect of MLS wanting to grow the game, that's why the Apple move made sense.
I'm obsessed with sports business and sports media and this changing landscape and all of these new streaming deals and how much they're paying announcers and all of this. And I think we glossed over how amazing it is that even Mike of all people, when he sees this deal or the potential of this deal and what it might be and all of the intricate rules of MLS that are going to have to be bent and stretched and all of that, it's just so insane to me that even Mike looks at this and goes, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work. It's
Well,
just, I love these rules of MLS, and it's just going to only get even crazier from now.
I was the same way with the Beckham deal. I was excited about it, but at the same time, it's like I don't know what to expect from this. I don't know what the level is really going to be. Now, Messi is a better player than David Beckham was, so you're not going to get the Hollywood aspect of it that David Beckham had, but you're going to get more. You're going to get the soccer crowd more because you have arguably the greatest of all time coming to MLS.
The greatest of all time, David. Don't put those two fingers up. The greatest of all time is coming from the United States of Major League Soccer.
He did say arguably.
Just the modern version.
Arguably.
This is just the modern version of when the greatest of all time came to the New York Cosmos, when Pele came to the New York Cosmos.
I would argue that it's very. If it's
Mike,
a 2, it is a 1A, 1B at this point. The
I'm
World
reaching
Cup
through this
on
webcam.
its own put him. The World Cup
Pele
on
had
the
three.
World Cup.
Pele had three. I'm coming across this. I'm coming through the screen.
And the aspects of soccer have changed greatly from when Pele played. It is now more club focused. It is now more club focused than it is national team focused. You get much more high level competition in club play, specifically in European club play, than you do in the international game now.
We're not
doing from the call. Drop him.
We're not doing who's. I'm going to drop you from the call. We're not doing who the best of all time is.
Cody's going to take my side in this. You saw a celebration at the start. You're wearing a Tevez jersey.
Is a Tevez jersey?
Yeah. Go get the right jersey, Cody.
Only Cody can unite the two of us against him.
Points for Mike on knowing who this number 11 kid was. Oh,
you turned around.
But
okay, well, we can all agree. We can all agree that the two best players of all time are going to be now playing in the United States or played in the U.S. at one point.
Played.
Yes. The last thing I really have in terms of the business of this is just from a competition standpoint, it does kind of suck that like we bend the rules for LA, we bend the rules for Seattle, we'll break the rules for Miami after they cheated. But in terms of growth of the game in the United States, in terms of growth of the league, it's probably what's best for everybody.
We're all here for it. They said he's probably not even going to play till September, if this year. We still don't even know anything. So we don't know when he's going to start playing, but all of the ticket prices for every single game have just skyrocketed already.
That's Miami.
Hundreds
just
of dollars. And he's probably not even
Miami.
For anyone wondering, Mike, you made the good point about this because I was one of those people who was getting excited looking at the calendar. I was already about to submit my credential request in Miami for the Sporting KC game there. And then you informed everyone that it is an international window.
Yep. The international window is the 2nd through the 12th of September, and Sporting is in Miami, smack dab in the middle of that. So there's a very, very strong likelihood that Messi would not even be at the game if he is playing by that point.
Very unfortunate. Although it might help our run to the playoffs there as we are finishing out the season.
I mean, Miami, I have a bad feeling could be very similar to Beckham the first year he arrived. Because, I mean, let's not forget, Miami's currently bottom of the Eastern Conference. So it's not like Miami is just on the cusp of being good and Messi's going to put them over the top. This is very much could be like the first season for the Galaxy under Beckham. where they really struggle.
And who's Miami's coach right now?
Right.
Well, it's
fired.
It's fired. It's technically Javier Morales, the former RSL player. But the reports are it's going to be Tata Martino.
Yes, reports are saying Tata might be coming, Sergio Busquets might be coming, other players might be joining him.
And now we're getting into the European tabloids not understanding MLS rules and making it very clear that they don't understand MLS rules.
And
Miami will cheat again. Like they had 5 DPs at one point. So what's another 2?
Yeah. Because that was one thing I was going to bring up at one point, David. So thanks for reminding me. Is I go back to this quote from I don't know how long ago, a couple years ago. The integrity of our rules is sacrosanct, and it is a fundamental principle of our league that our clubs are responsible for adhering to all league regulations, said MLS Commissioner Don Garber. Our rules will not be compromised. These sanctions reflect the severity of Inter Miami's violations.
You missed the really, really, really small asterisk at the end of that, and then the definition down at the bottom said, unless it's Lionel Messi coming to the league, in which case then all rules go out the window.
Yeah,
unless Messi. There it is.
Well, so this is probably going to be somewhere else. We should probably somewhere else in our lineup of our rundown that we should be doing this. But
he doesn't care. Sporting, do it anyway. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
He's gonna ruin it anyway. Go ahead.
That I would have to actually have read the rundown. Will Sporting get that same benefit if they go to sign Ronaldo now?
That was another one of these rumors that Ronaldo is also sniffing, tired of Saudi Arabia. But I don't know. That would be great for the
thing there is.
I just want it to be another team. I just don't want it to be us. It'll be great for the league to have them battling, but let that signing cripple another team, not us.
He'll want what Messi got is going to now that he knows what Messi has, whatever deal Sporting almost in quotes because we don't know how close it really was will he'll want more so close to what Messi got. He'll want the Apple TV share. He'll want the Adidas deal. He'll want the ownership stake. He'll want all those sorts of things along with whatever the salary is that Messi is going to be getting. So any deal Kansas City thought they were close to is out the window and back to square one with what Messi's getting.
Want to know what else Ronaldo wants? A World Cup, but he's not getting one.
I would like to see Ronaldo come to Kansas City to see how he would react to being less famous than Pat Mahomes, or not less famous, but less famous locally and less popular locally. And
less
also
loved.
I would like to see him do a Frank Lampard, like an end of career Frank Lampard, where Frank was kind of like out of shape. And instead of having like a 14 pack like he's got, I would love to see him just binge on burnt ends for like a year and just be chubby Ronaldo.
All right, you've changed my mind. I would pay money to go see Fat Ronaldo. I would
pay a
lot of money to see Fat Ronaldo.
Because
Fat Ronaldo's already been done better.
Yes, right. Well, that's the thing. As a Brazilian, I know Fat Ronaldo as a different person.
B2 Fat Ronaldo. I'm here for it.
With just the front of his hair and the rest of it shaved.
Okay, so I considered that our first break. We talked about this in the last episode. We asked for feedback on if you were hearing ads, and someone told me they heard ads in both spots, and other people told me they didn't hear any ads. So appreciate your feedback. Didn't help at all, but we are now in segment 2.
But we do read the comments. We do read what you have to say.
Yes.
There we go.
Cody,
keep letting us know. Yeah.
Yes.
When I tell people to tweet at you if they don't like anything, have you ever gotten blown up?
No.
Oh, what a bummer.
No, people are nice on Twitter so far. I read on Reddit, people will respond to how dumb I am or us on Reddit. I've seen that before. But no, people are nice to me on Twitter. You can attack me. I'm here for it. My thing is like pissing people off here.
That is one of your things. Yeah.
Okay. Another one of my things. So Fabrizio Romano translated Messi's announcement today. Messi went on Mundo Sport and talked
Your
at length.
Spanish is so good.
I am going to get to show it off here. So I'm on a like a 270-day Duolingo streak. So you guys heard my El Mejor del Mundo in the intro. That's where I got that one. I'm learning a lot. And it's come to my attention that Fabrizio Romano made several mistakes in his translation from Messi.
Well, he does speak Italian, not Spanish.
Well, then that would explain why his translations were so poor here. So
it's closer than Kansas City.
I've got a few highlights. No, did you not hear 270 days on Duolingo?
Man, I don't think you're going to get them as a sponsor by showing off that you've done this for 270 days.
But Cody, what language for 270 days? Because your Spanish is awful. What language have you been working on?
Mongolian.
I've pieced together some of the highlights from Messi's announcement today. And I'm going to give you the proper translations that Fabrizio Romano messed up.
Good. With Duolingo Plus, you can be as good as Cody.
I do pay for Duolingo Plus, so that's how you know I'm really good at this. The first one, No vuelvo a Barça, iré al Inter Miami, which of course means I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Wow, that's great. He already knows US culture. He's referencing LeBron. I love it. The guy is ready. He's here for this.
Which Spanish word said South Beach?
Inter Miami is how that is translated.
That's right.
The second one, quote, creo que condiciono mucho la temporada, which means I ain't playing on no turf, bro. Wow, that's
no West Coast trips.
Really unfortunate for the Cascadia teams in Miami.
I feel like that's a temporada is a long way of saying bro. I feel like that could be condensed.
Turf temporada. I double checked on that one.
Your Spanish must be better than mine.
Okay, another one here. La verdad es que hablamos bastante desde que estaba el como entrenador, which means the truth is I've come to challenge myself and show the world that I can do it on a humid afternoon in Houston. Wow, the guy is so ready for it. He's just saying all of the right things. He can do it. He can do it. What, Dad?
Which Spanish word in there was Houston? Was it bastard?
Bastante.
That's what it was.
There's no direct translation for that word, but I looked up. Just trust me on this one. 270 days. Okay, another one here. Escucha que tenían que vender jugadores o bajar sueldo a jugadores, which is, I'm prepared. I've heard tales of the obnoxious St. Louis fans. See, I'm telling you, he's got a really good team around him. They're preparing him for how awful our neighbors are. There must be famous all around the world. New team, they're notorious around the world for how awful they are.
Do you think Messi will try a toasted ravioli when he goes to that hellhole?
No, he'll do Emo's pizza.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna give him those over Emo's.
Yeah, he'll go back to Barcelona so fast.
He will leave this country if he gets some of that cardboard pizza.
He'll just juggle the toasted ravioli, man. He'll just keep juggling in there. So,
okay, I got a long one here for one more here for you guys, and I really get to show off my 270 days here. Como te decía, después de haber conseguido todos gracias a Dios y de haber conseguido por último del Mundial, lo que tanto deseaba, quiero buscar otra cosa también y un poco de tranquilidad. Which a direct translation to Seattle.
That's right. That is, I do speak better Spanish than Cody. I can confirm that that's what that said.
I'm just going to go with that one.
All right.
Cody, I think that you could work on your pronunciation, but I think you do have the skills of somebody who's done 270 days of Duolingo Plus. I'm impressed.
Better than Fab. Who was wrong? Oh, I wanted to give Mike Ryan a shout out here. Mike Ryan Ruiz, the Dan Le Batard show. We had the family. We had Whitty on. That's the show that Chris Whittingham was on. They're in Miami. He was the only one consistently over all these years, the last year or so, getting it right. While someone like Fab was saying Messi to PSG was done months ago. So it's been hilarious seeing. It actually really bothered me today, but it was hilarious seeing the fact that Fabrizio Romano said it's a done deal now. Then everyone was like, "Oh man, this is real. This is real." Okay, so where else are we missing on this conversation? Let's talk about. Because he is coming to David Beckham's Miami. I want to hear. We've touched on it a little bit, but Mike, how does this feel different from the David Beckham signing all of those years ago? It feels very different. It doesn't feel. Is he retired? Is Messi retiring here, or is he fresh off a World Cup and he's ready to play at a high level still?
I think it's similar, but as I kind of mentioned earlier, it's not. It's less the total package, because Beckham was the star power, the looks, the Hollywood appeal, and the soccer. Messi is the soccer. You got however many times Ballon d'Or. Not to say he doesn't have appeal outside the sport or
Messi's
anything, but
cute. Shut your mouth. Did you see what he used to
I'm
look like? Messi's hot now compared to what he used to look like.
I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that unlike when Beckham was signed, where it was everything combined, this is much more the soccer that being the lead. It's not like if you've read the Beckham Experiment, Grant Wall's book about the first 2 years of the Galaxy, Beckham with the Galaxy. He talks a lot about not knowing, like it not being clear which direction what was the lead. Beckham was always the very politically like, oh yeah, I'm here for the soccer, I'm here for this, but then it was always the red carpet events, the Hollywood parties, that sort of things. And while I'm sure there will be plenty of whatever the main drag in Miami is for all the big club parties, I'm sure there will be some of that. I don't think it will be to the extent that it was with Beckham. So I think it's very much more focused on the soccer at this point.
So speaking of big MLS signings, we have MLS historian here. I want to hear your top 5 biggest MLS signings of all time. But while I'm going to give you a couple minutes to work on it. I'll filibuster for you. David, tell me, is Lionel Messi any good anymore?
Of course. I mean, even he's 37 years old and was still like a key piece to PSG winning League One.
He won the World Cup just a few months ago.
Yeah, I don't care so much about that because Brazil didn't win.
Mention that.
Yeah, no, who cares about that? It only matters in years that Brazil wins. But he was a key piece for PSG. They had a very strong season in Ligue 1. He was still effective in the Champions League, even though that team is not super well constructed. It's going to be kind of like when Zlatan came. Like, he is just going to be a freak. He's just going to be better than most other people, even though he's clearly not in his prime anymore.
And he's also one of those players that, like, his tricks are going to work for a while. He's a clever passer. He can do free kicks until he's 45. Like, his tricks are going to work in MLS for a while.
Yeah, because, he's not a guy. He is deceptively fast. He's, deceptively quick on the ball, but he's not a guy who was just like straight pace merchant, right? Where he's just faster than everybody and those skills will decline. And to me, the moment I realized, truly how good Lionel Messi was in like the Copa America in like 20 whenever. I think it was in the United States. But, most guys, when they go to line up a free kick, they place the ball a certain way and like they want to find the plug or they don't or whatever. Messi, like, they rolled the ball to him. He stopped it with his foot, took 3 steps back and swatted it into the goal. It was like one of the most freakish things I've ever seen.
Thad, is this a retirement league? Is Messi coming here to retire?
Well, yeah, but not quite the same way as it used to be. A lot of players came and basically just jogged around and pretended to care. Some of them didn't even pretend to care.
Like Pirlo?
Yeah, well, there's
Pirlo. It's funny you said that. That was the first one that comes to my mind on on one of these old guys that came here and just trotted around a park for a couple years.
We got 3 bad ones. It was Gerard, Fat Frank, and Pirlo all at the same time. And it was just 3 dudes.
I was about to say you can't excuse Gerard in that. Gerard was
brutal.
Lampard had like a good half season in there because he scored like 8 goals one year. Lampard had at least a good half season in there. I put him a step above the Gerard Pirlo situation, but not far. But Frank Lampard, I felt like contributed a little bit at some point that took him a step higher. Because like with Pirlo, with Pirlo, there was that video, that corner that just like gets blasted over him, and he's just like standing there, basically. So no.
So the real question here is, we mentioned 3 of these signings that didn't work out, but they could very well qualify as the biggest MLS signings of all time. So without further ado here, let's get Mike Kuhn's top 5 MLS biggest signings of all time.
So I'm going to go a little bit of a different way with this. I'll start with the oldest. I'm not going to go top 5 ranking. That's
you're killing me. I got fanfare and everything.
I'm going to do oldest to newest is what I'm going to. You're going to get oldest to newest, and it's not going to be the biggest signing in terms of star power. It's going to be
too many qualifications.
No, it's not. No, it's not. You wanted the best. I'm qualifying what I think the best is. The best is what it did to change the league, basically, is how I'm looking at it. So number 1 is 1996, Carlos Valderrama. World Cup star, fantastic player, fantastic passer, original signing to the league. Great hair. So first on my list is Carlos Valderrama.
Great shot
for coming in. Number two is going to be a bit of a bust. Luis Hernandez, the Mexican international that was signed by the LA Galaxy. Why he's on the list? One other name, Clint Mathis. Do any of you guys know why Clint Mathis is involved with Luis Hernandez?
No.
What's a Clint Mathis?
Mathis was on the LA Galaxy at the time that that the Galaxy wanted to sign Luis Hernandez. They couldn't fit Hernandez in the salary cap at the time, but they already signed him. So what they had to do is basically MLS had a dispersal draft for like 1-2 players, and Mathis went to New York.
A dispersal draft.
Yeah, they had like a I don't know what the exact terminology was, but yeah, Mathis went. It wasn't a trade because the Galaxy got nothing in return. It was just, hey, we're going to move you to New York, Clint. So
like a lottery.
Sort of like a lottery, basically. But yeah, that's why Luis Hernandez is on the list, because he was like the first one that really started to really break the rules, and at the time MLS was still trying at least to give the sense that, oh yeah, we're following these rules, even though Hernandez very likely was making over whatever the max salary was at the time.
I knew once we got into MLS history stuff, I was gonna have to rein in Mike on this list because he was just gonna keep talking. That one actually worked out though, because we tied back around to like crazy MLS rules. So that one, I allowed you to go on that one.
That's why
Galaxy cheating.
That's why I thought of it. That's and the Galaxy cheating. So it works on multiple levels.
That's a lot of history right there. Galaxy cheating.
Number 3,
sticking with the LA Galaxy, David Beckham.
Wow.
I don't think, again, it's based off of what they did for the league and what they did in terms of rules for the league. There's a reason it was called the David Beckham rule for so long. There's a reason the designated player rules started as the David Beckham rule, because he was the one that basically made it. Now at the time they had like Landon Donovan and Eddie Johnson and Carlos Ruiz, who were all over the DP limit but were grandfathered into the system. But we have the DP rule because of David Beckham, so that's why he's on the list. Number 4, or number 2, number 4, however you want to look at it, whichever direction you want to go.
This list is all over the place.
I'll go with Sebastian Giovinco.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because you have a guy who was a fringe Italian international, but one of the top national teams in the world a player that coming to MLS in his prime, he was a fringe national. He got call-ups and played for the Italy while he was.
I was making a face
see you
to Italy being good at the footy because they've missed 2 World Cups in a row, right?
That was Mike arguing with no one who was arguing with him because David was just
David was making a face. David was making a face.
Yeah, because Italy sucks.
Next it was Giovinco, who at the time, that was before Italy missed 2 straight World Cups, basically. So he was a fringe national team player in his prime coming to MLS. So that was a step in turning the retirement league stereotype around, was getting a player of Giovinco's status to come to MLS to play in MLS, even though they had to pay out the ass to get him to come, basically. So that's number 2 on my list.
Now the number 1 biggest MLS signing of all time in a ridiculous order.
Not counting. They're in chronological order. That's not a no order at all.
You're not playing my game.
Chronological order.
He's not playing your game, Cody.
I don't play. You wanted a top 5. You're getting a top 5. I'm just putting them in the order that
getting a chronological
makes
5,
sense to me.
But I'll allow it.
Land this plane, Mike.
So
Mike has this spreadsheet in his mind, man.
Yes, it was. So Messi's not on the list because he's not official yet. So number 5 is Zlatan. I mean,
forgot about Zlatan.
You can argue that
he overlooked him.
He is the second biggest name to sign with the league, basically behind Beckham, or even in front of Beckham, depending on who you talk to. And then there's only Messi in front of him. So those are my 5 in chronological order of biggest, most impactful signings in the league.
It's a good list. It was a good list. Thank you very much for that, Mike.
Cody, would you rather have Zlatan or Zava?
Zlatan. You can't even. Zava was a good character, but you cannot. Zlatan was a real human, and he was still more interesting than Zava was.
Like, he doesn't grow gigantic avocados, though.
You don't know.
I regretted.
Have you seen his avocados?
That's true. That makes a good point there. After we finished the last episode, I regretted that we didn't mention that Zlatan announced his retirement that very day. We didn't get to talk about it. So yes, Mike, that was great. Thank you very much for bringing that up. My favorite goal in MLS history was Zlatan, and on the same goal was my favorite call in MLS history, when the announcer saw it go in and just said, "Oh, come on, come on." Okay, so goodbye, Zlatan. Never see another one like him. David, what does get us? We're wrapping up here, but one last thing you added in here to our rundown, a very very normal sports show question here. So I'll be the sports talk radio guy and ask you, and I'll throw this question to you here, David. What does this do for Miami as a franchise?
So, as a Florida man, former Florida man, reformed Florida man, I lived in Miami during LeBron and the Heatles, and I grew up visiting Miami all the time. I have a deep connection to Miami and love Miami in a lot of ways. They are an extremely fickle fan base for all sports, not just Inter Miami, but when the Heat are bad, nobody goes. Nobody goes to Marlins games. Nobody goes to the Dolphins if they're bad. Nobody goes to the Miami Hurricanes if they're bad. But if they're good, those places are rocking. And the year before LeBron came to the Heat, you could get like lower bowl seats in the arena pretty affordably. It wasn't that hard to do. And then as soon as LeBron showed up, tickets skyrocketed. And the funniest part of it was people didn't even care to see the game. They just wanted to show up to be like, I'm courtside. There's LeBron. I came in the third quarter. I left in the third quarter.
I think for a non-Miami person, that sounds about right. Like that computes for Miami. It seems it's a very flamboyant and flashy, maybe almost like plastic in that way. Like they're not there to care about the game, but like, oh, something cool is happening. Like I'm there for that. Something big and flashy. I'm there for that. You
want to be seen. And but Inter Miami is also one of the worst attended franchises in the league. It doesn't help that they play in Fort Lauderdale, which is, depending on traffic, like an hour drive to Miami itself, like nowhere near South Beach.
Mike, are they going to fix that? They're going to have to build another stadium, right? They can't keep playing in Fort Lauderdale.
They have a stadium plan that
It's ugly.
Fort Lauderdale won't be their stadium. It'll be their USL or their MLS Next Pro stadium.
But
But
the renderings.
I will say that Messi actually, in my opinion, actually helps that stadium actually happen, because up until Messi actually signs, I won't believe that stadium actually ever happens in Miami, honestly. So when the signing's official, then I'll actually believe that they might actually get the stadium built. Up until then, I don't know. I think they might be in Fort Lauderdale forever, honestly.
I don't think that they've even broken ground. And frankly, the location's not amazing. It's by the airport, which is not like super accessible, because Miami's it's a big city, but there's not a lot of public transport. It is not easy to get around. You have to have a car, and traffic's terrible. But Miami's one of the worst attended franchises in the league. I think their attendance was up 35% this year because they made the playoffs last year, but then they're currently last in the table and just fired their coach. But Messi will sell out every single game. Tickets will be astronomically expensive. Everybody in South Florida is going to have a Messi kit until he leaves. And then they won't be attended anymore until the next big thing comes along.
That was our Miami expert who has not been there in like a decade.
It's been a while.
He is claiming to be our expert on Miami. I'm realizing only now I should have tried to hit up Witty to get him back on. We have a friend of the pod that is Miamian. Short notice though. We need maybe I will hit him up. We'll try to do
next
that
week. Next week, man.
Push my luck with Witty on. Okay, guys. Anything else? El Mejor del Mundo is coming. Any other final thoughts here?
No, but I think it was a really valid question about what this means for Miami, but what does it do for MLS? Does it help MLS grow? I mean, I know there's going to be more Apple subscribers, etc., but are other teams going to go out and find guys who are close to that status? And if, we see rumors already that multiple teams are looking at Ronaldo again, I have to think they actually would force that to be in an Eastern Conference team so that they could play 3 times a year.
Yeah, that was good to bring that question up again. We did kind of talk about the benefits and Apple TV and all of that. But
Thad, Cody, I know you're trying to wrap up, but like Thad, you bring up the point of, does this bring other people? But other than Ronaldo and like maybe Neymar, but not really, is anybody else even remotely on this level? Like I would love to see Robert Lewandowski. He doesn't move the needle the way that Messi moves the needle.
That's what I was going to say, is that there's nobody like you. I mean, there's a reason that the Ballon d'Or for so many years was, is it Messi? Is it Ronaldo? Is it Messi? Is it Ronaldo? And they went back and forth for however long they did. There's nobody at their level. Those two are so clearly still at the top, even though they're both in their late 30s at this point. The closest you could get is Neymar, maybe Mbappe, but Mbappe's not going to have as broad of appeal as those two will.
Okay, but
so I mean, it's hard to find. It's great to say, oh yeah, maybe you'll bring more guys of that stature, but there aren't that many of that stature. And I mean, then you have the Saudi League that's saying they're going to do what the Chinese Super League did and try to sign all these high-profile guys.
Well, Mike, there you go. That's my take on all this. I'm not scared of you, Saudi Arabia. I'm old enough for whatever that was, 7 years ago or whatever, when everyone was scared about the Chinese league ruining MLS. I'm not scared of them.
All right. So, but to follow back up on my question is, I don't think you're going to have to. The point isn't finding another Messi or Ronaldo of that level, but when you move the needle, it leaves the gap behind it. So now you have not the same level, but you have 10, 15, 20 guys of the next level coming in. Because now maybe a really good player says, hey, I could play with Messi. I wouldn't have been able to do that with PSG or Barca.
I do, even if it's not like, that's a good point that I think a lot of people maybe don't believe that is actually a thing that's going to happen. But even if it's not, oh, maybe I could go play with Messi or against Messi, but it's maybe more like there's people watching the league and they see that it is not as bad as what they've been told, or In other words, it is immediately becomes a more appealing league to go play in. And that's on the player side. I do see a lot of, like you said, a lot of our people in Argentina are going to subscribe to this league. They're going to watch some of these teams. And while Inter Miami is going to be the one that they're watching, the one that they follow and like, I do see a path to them. This is a fun league. I'm going to pick one of these teams and follow, and this is going to be my MLS team. You see people coming in on Reddit all the time of like, oh, I've never followed this league before. I'm going to pick a team. That is absolutely something that these people around the world that are going to sign up for Apple TV, that is absolutely something that's going to happen.
Yeah, and some of them will just absolutely love it when Jake Davis crushes Messi, and they will be rooting for Sporting after that.
Oh, there will be Ronaldo fans hate watching Messi. That's for sure.
And that will also be the next prop bet is like, which $84,000 a year guy will crush Messi, and in the 1 second that Messi makes more money than him and try to, change his life. So
Roger,
I'm putting my money on $86,000 Roger Espinoza.
all I'm excited about is that 10 years from now, we're going to have this same pod. Cody will be in his Norway kit with Erling Haaland's name on the back. And we'll be talking about Haaland and Mbappe to MLS.
No, it won't be 10 years. It'll be sooner than that because the league will be further along.
See, that's when we do talk about that next level. Haaland is one of the one that can be that next level, or in that same conversation. He has to go for a while to do that. I mean, he shows that he can do it, but he has to do it for a while to be really in that conversation.
Get out of here, Thad.
I can't wait to hear about Cody's 270-day Norwegian streak on Duolingo.
I'm gonna have to. 2 down, 3 to go. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about Man City. 2 down, 1 to go, guys, for the treble this weekend. I know you're all gonna be watching.
Are they still playing?
There are only 2 teams still playing because it is indeed the final. Okay, do we have anything left here? You'll be at the soccer fields, of course. I don't know how we got Mike on this one. The stars aligned. Messi's in MLS. We got Mike on the pod. This is a great day. Okay, any final thoughts here, Thad? Thad, you want to say something prophetic?
Go Messi.
El mejor del mundo!